know the drill. It's January, you've got this big, shiny goal, and you think, this is it. This is my year. But then life happens, and that resolution kind of fizzles out. If that sounds familiar, you're in the right place. We're going to dive into the psychology of why our best intentions so often fall apart. Okay, let's just get one thing straight right from the start. This is not going to be another rah-rah pep talk. We're not here to just pump you up with hype. Instead, we're going to get under the hood and look at what's actually going on in your brain to understand why it hits the emergency brake on our big plans. And it happens so fast, right? For most people, that big New Year's fire just burns out within 1 to 3 weeks. That's it. So if you've ever quit by the end of January, guess what? You're not the exception. You're actually the rule. But the real question is why? Well, the problem usually starts with something we can call the resolution trap. We think we're setting ourselves up for a win, but the way most of us make resolutions, well, it's like we've already failed before we've even started. It's a total setup. And listen, this is probably the most important thing you're going to hear today. This is not a character flaw. You're not lazy, you don't just lack willpower, there's nothing wrong with you. The issue is a huge misunderstanding about how our own brains are wired to deal with change. So, let's get into the nitty-gritty. We're going to look at the 3 biggest psychological traps that make our resolutions just crumble. And understanding these is the key to finally breaking that frustrating cycle. All right, here's the first reason, and it's a bit counterintuitive. Your brain, it actually hates your huge, life-changing goals. Yeah, that big, exciting resolution you set, your brain doesn't see inspiration, it sees a threat. And this makes a ton of sense when you break it down. A huge goal, like I'm going to get super fit, is just full of uncertainty. It's going to require a massive amount of effort, and let's be honest, there's a pretty high chance of failure. Your brain's #1 job is to keep you safe and conserve energy, so it protects you by making you procrastinate. It's not sabotage, it's just self-preservation. The second trap, we are completely dependent on the feeling of motivation. You know, on January 1st, motivation feels like this incredible superpower that's going to carry you through the whole year. But psychologically, that's like trying to power a car with fireworks. It's spectacular for a minute, but it does not last. See, motivation is just an emotion. It's a temporary feeling tied to something new and exciting. But the moment reality kicks in, work gets crazy, you have a bad day, or you're not seeing results fast enough, that feeling just vanishes. And if your whole plan was built on a feeling, well, the plan disappears right along with it. And that leads us right into the third critical mistake. We almost always set our resolutions as outcomes, as results. We say things like, I want to lose 20 pounds, or I want to write a book. We're totally focused on the destination, but we've given our brain 0 directions on how to actually get there. And here's the thing you gotta understand. Your brain doesn't get abstract ideas like success. It's an action machine. It only understands concrete, repeatable behaviors. It needs a command like, put on running shoes after making coffee, not a vague wish like, run a marathon someday. Without a specific action to take, your brain just gets confused and goes right back to its old familiar habits. So when you put all of this together, it leads to one powerful truth. If you failed at resolutions in the past, it was never a failure of your character. It was a failure of your strategy. You were just using a system that works directly against your brain's own programming. Just look at this comparison. On the left, that's the story we tell ourselves, right? I'm just not disciplined enough. I have no willpower. But the truth, the actual psychological reality is on the right. I created a plan my brain literally could not execute. This is a total game changer. You weren't weak, your plan was just incompatible with your own hardware. Okay, so how do we fix this? How do we build a plan that actually works with our brain instead of fighting against it? Turns out, it comes down to 3 pretty simple psychology-backed rules for making real, lasting change. All right, let's walk through this. First, forget the giant goal. Pick one ridiculously small behavior. Instead of, I'm going to hit the gym every day, try, I will put my workout clothes on. That's it. Second, link that tiny new behavior to something you already do without thinking, like making your morning coffee. This is called habit stacking. And third, and this is the weird one, expect it to get boring. Don't chase that high of motivation. And this is exactly why boredom is your new best friend. Seriously. When a new action starts to feel boring, it means your brain has stopped fighting it. It's becoming automatic. Boredom is just the feeling of repetition. And repetition is what builds a habit. And it's the habit, not the motivation, that gets you the results. Boredom means it's working. So as we start to wrap this up, Let's focus on the real takeaway here. Real, lasting change doesn't happen because of some huge leap of willpower in January. It happens from the slow, steady, compounding effect of one small, consistent change. I want you to let this one sink in. You have always been capable. You've always had the effort. The only missing piece of the puzzle was the instruction manual. You were trying to force a change in a way your brain was biologically designed to reject. It was never about you. So, here's your new mantra. Forget the grand plan to overhaul your entire life. This year, just focus on changing one small thing. Pick one tiny behavior and do it over and over until it becomes boring, because that is how your year and eventually your life will actually change. And that leaves us with one last really important question. Forget that long list of 10 different resolutions. Based on everything we just talked about, what is the one tiny, specific behavior you're going to commit to? What's your real resolution going to be this year?